week's game. Disappointed. A lot of positive things. That's probably the best first half we played all year long. We went well on the negatives. We all those know those as we went into the second half. We got no momentum. We couldn't get the spark that we had in the first half, and you got to have that. You got to have something to happen. But I was real proud of our offensive line. Much improved. Ran the ball a lot better. Wide receivers blocked better. We made a lot of progress on first down, which we had been struggling on first down with running the football. In the past, we'd had to throw the ball. But we made a huge stride there. Defensively, the best game that we played up to this point. We were all over the field. Our guys really prepared. When you play teams like Houston and South Florida with running quarterbacks, it adds an extra dimension of the game. And they really worked hard all week long, just on the mental aspect of being in the right spot. Of course, we missed 15 tackles. We're not the only one. We might have had less missed tackles than anybody that they played. But we made plays. We made a punt. We got them off the field. We had sacks. We had good coverages. We didn't really give up the deep ball. We gave up a couple of long runs that hurt us. We played good on third down most of the time. So saw a lot of progress there and on our defense. But it all comes back, when you play a team like that, they can make you look pretty bad in an open field. And that's what they strive to do. They go spread from sideline to sideline, try to get one-on-one. And our guys did a good job getting in the right place. But sometimes it takes more than one person to tackle their number 5, their running back, who's a heck of a football player, and their quarterback. So that being said, our defensive backs, I thought, much improved. 87 is the best receiver that we have seen all year. He can really fly. They hand the ball off to him, they throw it to him. He's kind of their master plan player. So just looking at the overall picture, obviously we lost the game, and for some reason, we continue to do what we did in the Houston game in the second half. But a lot of bright points, so a lot to work on. Going into this week, we've got Connecticut, our third conference game, first one on the road. Solid team. They could very, very easily be 4-0. They've lost a couple of games, or one game at the end. They tied up against Houston last week, and that was a tough game for them. We all know how Houston plays, especially when they play at home. But they've had a couple of extra days practice for our game. We've got to be ready to go. Our guys are a bit tired, 6 games in a row, but you couldn't tell it on Sunday. They're ready to go. They're ready to improve. They're ready to get better, to make progress. We'll have some decisions to make. A lot of positions, trying to who's going to be the starter. One thing I will tell you, I'm 1,000% behind the coaches and players who play. A lot of times, you start second guessing what's going on, but we know this wasn't going to be a great year in terms of consistency because we had transition of offense and transition of a lot of guys that are playing on the next level and not with us anymore. But our goal was to get better each week, be competitive, and have a chance to win every game. And so far to this point, we put ourselves in that spot. Unfortunately, we're 3-2, and 2 teams have played better than us for 4 quarters. And that's the learning point that we've got to have with all of our guys, that young guys, older guys, if we plan on winning any or all these games in the next 7 weeks. So we're going to put everything we got into this game this week. Next week we got a chance to have a little break, get everybody back healthy, and go after the second part of the season. Questions?
Why did Mike Boone's average per carry down so much from last year? Is it just there's no holes there for him? Or something else? It was like 7 last year and 3, maybe 3 this year.
Yeah, we weren't very good early in the season running football. We know that. Our offensive line, 2 new tackles. Left guard pretty much was hurt, first of the year, and now he's back hopefully 100%. So there's no excuse other than the fact that when you can't throw the ball down the field as successful as we did last few years, because we've been good on offense. You got to remember now we led the conference in offense basically the last 2 years, mostly by the stretching the field, throwing it down the field, putting pressure on the secondary, getting more people in the secondary coverage-wise in the front. Now we're playing 6 and 7 man fronts, and it's hard to block that extra guy because they don't feel that wide and deep threat that we had. Now we're getting better at that. So that's the only thing that's going to help Mike and Tion. Both of them, we try to give them the same amount of reps. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Tion being the senior gets to start, but we try to even it up as we go along. Hopefully, both of them's average will go up as we go. We played two very good defenses in the last 3 weeks, two very good defenses, and we've made progress with both of them. We were able to run the ball a lot more effectively in this last game than Houston. Nobody's run the ball on Houston. I mean, they play 8, 9 men front, just dare you to throw it. We didn't have the receivers experienced enough early in the season for the third game to take advantage of what they did. Hopefully, we're able to do that a little bit more as we go on through the season, able to stretch the field and get the ball deeper and try to get more people out of the box.
You mentioned the offensive numbers the last couple of years, they're not the same this year. There's a lot of different reasons for that. One is, I guess, a new offense, but can you just talk about why they're down? You don't have the same receivers, just in general.
Yeah, it's a different philosophy too. And then you got to, whenever we're starting two brand new offensive tackles that never played in college football, and that's a huge part of it. But it's been, we took baby steps through spring practice and a little bit through two-a-days, then we accelerated it. Then we got into the season and we lose our quarterback, and then we got knocked down. Your quarterback's the key to your engine now. I mean, he's the guy that gets you going, gets you in the right play, motivates the players, gets all that stuff done. And Hayden was the guy that won it out, and then we go with Ross. Ross has played good at times. Sometimes he hadn't played very well. We all know that. But offense is hard to play, very hard. Defense is much easier. Defense is all line up and go get it. Offense, everybody's got to do their job. If you don't, one person makes a mistake, then you're going to have problems. So it's a process. With this offense, we keep adding things every week. Last week, we were able to get the ball outside wide in the passing game, something that we hadn't done in the past. Each week, we'll add different wrinkles, depending on what we think helps, and try to get our better matchups. We didn't make any plays last week, second half. There was no play. We made a lot of plays in the first half. Receivers made plays, tight ends made plays, running backs made plays. Second half, we didn't do that. We were just a step off. Didn't have any penalties, but we started shooting ourselves in the foot on a turnover, on a long completion, and we turn it over on a fumble. Those things, they absolutely, for a young team, they just devastate, your offense. I thought our defense stepped up well, and we were able to play better after turnovers sometimes when we turn the ball over, and that's going to have to happen because you're going to have turnovers. We just don't need to have them all at one point in time. We had 8 plays that were a disaster in the third quarter on offense. Absolutely, you look at it and wonder, what in the world are we doing? But those happen when you guys are trying to figure out, new plays, new formations, all things that you're trying to do them right, and trying to do them consistent.
Tom, speaking of quarterback, how does a guy who a few years ago was seen around here as the next Greg Cook go to a mop-up guy handing off late in football games?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I'll tell you what, I'm a Gunner Keel fan. I'm behind all these kids, 1,000%, as I said that. I'm a believer in all of them, but we play the best guy that knows the offense, that's ready to play. We don't listen to fans. We don't listen to anybody. Zach Taylor has the first call. I have the second call. And Saturday night, Ross, it was time for him. He played hard. He played well. He played behind the 8 ball. We put him really his back against the wall down on our special teams inside the 5. And that's hard to play quarterback down there. It's hard to call plays. It's hard to run the ball. And he made a couple mistakes. The receiver made one mistake on an interception. It wasn't Ross's fault. But after that, I just didn't want him to lose all of his stuff that he'd gotten better at. And so we put Gunner in there, give him a shot. It didn't get much better, but that's not to say, Gunner has practiced. He practices, he does everything everybody else does, but he just wasn't as consistent. I would have loved him. I don't know what his completion percentage was. I don't look at that, but I've loved him going out there and throwing 9 straight completions. It'd have been a lot easier, but that didn't happen. It wasn't even close. And So
He doesn't know the offense as well as you guys?
He knows it. He knows it. He's getting better. He's getting better at it. But again, he missed spring ball, as I said. We've talked about this, and you know, Zach doesn't know Gunner Kill. Zach Taylor comes in. He's the quarterback coach, so he treats them all the same from day one, and it's pretty much his call. And it's his offense. He knows it. He knows what he wants out of it, and you know, his decision was to go with Hayden, and then it was his decision to go with Ross.
So I guess I'm back to the original question. How does a guy who played the way this guy played when he first got here not even make it off the bench other than when the game's out of reach?
Well, I mean, it's just, that's football. It's team sports. Next best guy goes in. I mean, next best guy to practice. You know, Gunner's had a good career, not great here. You know, we threw a lot of interceptions last year. And that's one thing we're trying to get by. We're not the same offense. This is a totally different offense. We don't have the firepower that we had last year. We don't have the guys that can stretch the field where you don't have to read coverage. You just got to throw it the length of the field. Hope the guy runs under. That's not this offense. This is all timing, all predicated on reading coverages, throwing the ball underneath. Not to say he can't do it. I mean, he just, under Zach's eyes, he wasn't the best guy to start the season or start the last two games.
Who starts this week?
Who starts?
Well, how is Hayden and who do you think starts?
I hope Hayden comes back and has some snaps. I don't think he's going to be ready to play, but he threw a few balls on Sunday and doing pretty well. But you know, he's not going to be. He's not as we speak right now. Not close. And so it'll be Ross and Gunner. And we'll wait and see who's going to start.
So they have to fight it out in practice this week.
Well, that's what you do. You put them out there to compete. Never give the reins to somebody just to be given. Make them earn it.
Tommy, with all due respect, you lose by 25 at home to a peer, someone you consider yourself in the same category, I guess. What has to be done that doesn't happen again?
You got to play better. You got to coach better. That's all I can tell you. I've been in a lot of these games, and that's pretty much, you know, you got to coach first, and you got to play like you're coached. Two good football teams have beat us. I mean, two best teams in this league predicted at the beginning of the year. Okay, now I don't know whether they are or not, but with playing them last year, knowing that the players that they had back, we knew that they were pretty good. We competed with both teams pretty much, you know, for at least 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters. But competing don't get it. You know, we're here to win games.
So, Andrew Gantz, what do you expect he'll be back, or is he?
We thought he was going to kick last week all the way up to kickoff, and he just couldn't do it. So we'll have to wait. Probably we will assess him at the end of after we come back from open day next week. He's got to have some rest. You know, we're not that we pushed him. That there's nothing that he can do to make it even better or worse. It's just we thought last year he played hurt quite a bit. He kicked hurt. This year it's been a little bit worse, and so that kind of put us in a bind because all the way up to kickoff he was going to be the field goal extra point guy, and then we had to adjust our holder, and that's what got us on the field goals because we kicking our field goal guy, and the holder for the left-footed kicker is Carter Jacobs. Carter couldn't hold. He did for the last one. You know, he's had a hurt thigh muscle, and so he should. Carter will be back this week, and the other kid will be. Now we'll practice him, see how it goes. But he'll probably more than likely our lefty will do the kicking this week.
What do you expect to see from UConn this week? What kind of stuff, you know?
UConn's a big physical team. You know, they got their offensive line's huge. They kind of remind me of Purdue. They got a quarterback that transferred in from North Carolina State that can run, make plays. The same running backs that they've had, pretty much the same team. They got probably an all-conference player receiver, number 5. I can't remember his name, but he's I think he's caught close to 50 passes this year. I think just 4 games. They come very close. They lost a game to Navy on the 1-yard line. Time ran out. again, their last game against Houston was on the road, very tough game against a very good defense. But their defense is sound. They don't do anything special. They line up physically, just try to beat you. And last year we had guys that could make plays, and we made enough plays to get some points on. This year it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. That's a good place to go and enjoy going up there and playing. I really like going up there this time of year. It's a little later. My first time I went up there, we went later, and it was pretty chilly. But it should be a good week. It should be a good weekend.
Hey, Coach, you've obviously coached at places with really high expectations, the SEC and Big 12. When you go on streets like this, do you feel more pressure? Your job, that kind of thing. I'm sure you've dealt with these things in the past.
Oh yeah, I've had the best holler at me. I wished I'd have kept a book of names I've been called over the years. But I'm gonna be here. I mean, the thing that people's got to understand, we're not the team that we were last year. Okay, this is a college team. This is not a pro team. We had over 1,000 recruits, parents, and high school coaches here in the last 3 games. We're in the sales business. Sometimes when you have negative stuff being said, and I think say anything about me. I mean, I'm easy. You know, I get paid for this. Kids don't get paid for it. But we got to recruit. And we got to recruit hard. And we got a lot on the line other than recruiting. And so all that stuff that comes out of the stands doesn't help one bit. I mean, I've had to do a lot of explaining to some big-time recruits that are committed to us about what's going on. And again, we got to understand this is a college. This is a place where we're playing with 18, 19, 20-year-old guys. Players come because, recruits come here because of atmosphere, the university, get a degree, the atmosphere, you know, all the things that go along with it. So we don't want that pro atmosphere. We want a college atmosphere where people come and pull for their players. Again, I'm not off limits. I'm full game, okay? But players and stuff, I mean, that doesn't fly. We have got to recruit. We don't want to be the Cincinnati 20 years ago. We don't want to go into that again, okay? I came here 20 years ago. I came and coached here against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's, we're getting to the point where we can recruit against anybody. We're getting to the point where we've got facilities better than most anybody. We got stuff to sell. We got to sell an atmosphere here at games. Not a negative one, a positive. Again, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about everybody else. You know, I do this for a living, and I've been in front of in stadiums that they'll curl your toes sometimes. What they call you, it don't bother me. You know, it doesn't bother me at all. But it does bother recruits. And again, I'm behind our players 1,000%. I mean, this is University of Cincinnati's football team. This is not a pro team. This is young guys playing to have fun, to get a degree, but playing for the people that come here to the games, the fans, the alumni, everybody involved. Let's be positive. You know, players and all that. I mean, you come after me all they want. I mean, that doesn't bother me. I've heard it all.
Have you heard more of that this year than you did last year?
You know, I don't hear much of it because I've got headphones on. And I have a lot of people tell me, recruits, what's going on, Coach? So, I mean, people got to understand what's happening when you bring all those recruits here. We've got commitments, we've got guys on the fence, we got all those things. I mean, again, they want to come and be around a positive atmosphere. Obviously, they want to see you win games. We won a lot of games. We're going to win a lot more. But I mean, we've had our hands full 2 of the last 3 weeks. And so has everybody else who plays those teams, and not just us. So we had some positive thing happen. Been on national TV. We've had some recruits that committed. We've got recruits that are questioned. I mean, but that's my job and our coach's job to continue to sell. But we're selling and coaching and doing all that stuff at the same time. We just don't need all the stuff coming from left field to affect that. And I would imagine most people wouldn't want that to happen either.
So what do you tell those recruits when they ask you what's going on?
Well, a lot of this happens in a lot of schools because everybody just sees it in one eye. They don't see everything that goes around it. But you know, you just talk about the positive things. They look at your program, what you do. You sell everything that you have. We're selling we're selling our fans, the stadium, the atmosphere, the university, the weight room, everything goes along with it. we're in the sales business. But,
Surely
again,
in the SEC, fans say things to players, I would think.
oh, like I said, I wish I'd kept a book what I've been called.
Not just you, but players too.
Oh, yeah, but you gotta be educated about it. I've given this talk before. You know, hey, you wanna win games, you gotta help recruit. You gotta be positive. And again, everybody's gonna say stuff about coaches. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I'm responsible for every fumble, interception, penalty, missed tackle. That's my fault, because I didn't do a good enough job coaching. It's not those guys' fault. I mean, they put in hundreds of hours of their own time throughout the year just to be able to play 12, 13 games. And so if you're a parent, you want your kid to go and be part of something that, number one, solid, it's a good program within, and it's positive. Again, you're not going to ever be 100%. You're not going to win all the games. You're going to have people that get disgruntled. I understand all that. I mean, I understand that. I mean, that's life. You guys, y'all need to write about something. People want to read it, and we're fair game. I understand that. And this is what, 21st year to be a head coach, been in this business a long time, and I've seen it all, heard it all. But this is sales, and if we want to move to another level, we got to, we're not a huge university yet in terms of tradition. We got to continue to build that. We got to win games. I know that. My number one goal, is to win games, and we're going to do that. We're going to continue. We've won a lot of games. We beat teams we shouldn't have beaten. I don't think we've lost to a lot of teams that we've been better than. We hadn't done that, and that's, to me, that's the coaches. I mean, they get them ready to play against the teams that they're supposed to win, and if you win some, you're not supposed to. And that's how you build your program. Then you build from that, and the players from the high schools and the coaches and parents see all that. They see how it's built. But we've not had any problem. And again, I don't hear it. I just have people tell me about it, because the reason I wear headsets, I learned a long time ago. When you go to LSU, you wear headsets and a helmet sometimes. So it's just part of the business. But again, it all goes back to players, recruiting, everybody on the same page, doing the right thing. I'm here. I came here to, I had to look for a job. No, don't want a job. And we're going to get this done. We knew this wasn't going to be a great year because we were building a new offense. And if we hadn't changed offenses, we might have been a little bit better, but not much, because we lost all those great receivers. So we had to adjust a little bit. So we're going to be very positive with the players. Again, we don't talk about negatives. We talk about all the positive things that happen. We go on with that, and we build on that. The quicker you get over things that happen negative and start thinking about the positives, you're going to be more successful. And so we moved on. A lot of people have a tough time. We can move on because we got another game we got to work. A lot of other people kind of dwell on it, and that's fine. Gives you guys something to do. You wouldn't be here today if you didn't want to talk about it.
With the changes at quarterback, who would you say is the leader on the offensive side of the ball?
Leader on our offense, I'd say Deshaun Bond, our center, who's been a great leader. I mean, he's an all-conference, maybe an all-American type of player, just from leadership and his efforts. Tion's done a very good job. Really, two of the few seniors that have been with us for a while, that have played a lot. Those two guys have been in the battles, been in the wars, fought them hard, disappointed. The great thing you see about these players, and again, I've been around a lot of teams, is when you lose games, you can look in their eyes. If they're disappointed and they're hurt, you're making progress. You don't want them to go out there and, hey, let's get this thing over with. I've seen that. We're not that. I mean, our guys want to get better. They want to play better. They understand what's happened to them, the situation that while we've lost 2 games, now they know where they got to get better, and we're going to do that.
And with the Hayden injury, I understand it's his ankle, but can you talk a little bit more about that? Did he basically twist his planting foot in the first half of the Houston game, or I'm just trying to get a better sense of the timing and extent?
Our running back missed a linebacker blitz, missed him, and Hayden got spun around with his cleats in the ground and just twisted his ankle. And it wasn't a high ankle sprain. You get a high ankle sprain, you're done for 7, 8, 9 weeks. It was just a sprain, and but it's on his lead foot where you plant, and it's been pretty tender, but he's getting better. And like I said, he threw a little bit Sunday. He probably got a 25% chance maybe of playing a little bit this week, but we're going to go with guys that can run. You don't want to put anybody out there if he can't run. I'm not going to do